Now, a fan favorite over the past several years in the fragrance community is a brand called Initio Parfums Prives. Of course, I have it right over my right shoulder here. And as you can tell, there's still a lot that did not make it into this list. I thought long and hard about what are the 10 best Initio Parfums fragrances for the fall and winter. So we're talking about the colder weather. Of course, I worked my way up to it and I spent quite a bit of time compiling this list. I'm very excited to share it with you, so make sure to stay tuned. Now, before I begin today's episode and I tell you about these 10 Initio Parfums Prives fragrances, what makes them so great, why I personally love wearing them in the colder weather, specifically the fall/autumn months, I want to start the video off first by saying that if you're a fan of fragrance videos, top 10 videos like this, giveaways, unboxings, reviews on brand new fragrances, both niche and designer, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, and give this video a thumbs up. It would really, really mean a lot to me. The first fragrance that I want to talk about is actually one that I like to use as a sort of a primer or an underbody. This one is called Magnetic Blend 8. So this one actually contains frankincense and pheromone musk. This is great to layer with other fragrances, not just from this brand, but basically any brand. What I really like about the frankincense in here, it's an amazing, natural, organic smelling frankincense, but it also reminds me a little bit of the note of ginger. So it has kind of like a fresh quality about it. So it's a very interesting duality within its personality where sometimes it freshens up other fragrances, sometimes it adds this darker, complex aroma to it. It's really, really special. If you ever find yourself at a store that carries these fragrances, and of course I'm going to leave links down below if you want to get like a tiny sample. This way you're not really spending a lot of money or anything like that. Magnetic Blend 8 is one to really, really check out. The fragrance in the number 9 spot is Psychedelic Love. So this fragrance has bergamot, rose, myrrh, vanilla, and patchouli. So this one also has a bit of an incensey personality, but of course the myrrh that is in here, it has less of that lemony pine and more of like this dark ambery type of vibe to it. And of course with vanilla being in here as well, it's earthy, it's warm, it's sensual, it's awesome. In the number 8 spot, we have Atomic Rose. Now this has 2 varieties of natural rose. There's almost like this coffee vanilla vibe to it, and I've said this on my channel so many times before. It kind of reminds me of Delina Exclusif by Parfum de Marly combined with Intense Cafe by Montal. So if you can imagine that combination, that's basically what you get with Atomic Rose, and I think it's really, really special. Oud for Happiness, part of the Black Gold project, right, with the sacred geometry and everything on it. So this one has a green note in here, right? So it has this sort of a weed vibe, if you will, and it's earthy. This kind of reminds me of like a darker, bleaker street by Bond Number 9. So if you can imagine that, it's earthy, it's green, it has a little bit of a sweetness to it as well that I really, really enjoy. And as you can see, we're going to be exploring several different collections within the brand. We also have Mystic Experience. Now we're getting a little bit on the darker side of things. This has coffee, musk, vanilla, and patchouli. I think this is the one that people compare to Black Afghano by Nasomato. Could be wrong by that. I always kind of get the names confused, but this one is warm, it's sensual, and I think the sensuality is coming from that vanilla and coffee combination. It's really, really, really good. And it's also an ideal pick for people if you don't want to smell like everybody else. You know, Initio is very, very popular. You already know Rehab is going to be on this list, right? You talk about a fall list, of course there's going to be Rehab. But if you want to stand out, you don't want to smell like everybody else, you want to wear something that is going to give you that level of individualism and uniqueness, Mystic Experience is definitely the fragrance within the catalog from the brand's releases for you to explore. Of course, we also have Blessed Baraka. This fragrance contains, and I have a little cheat sheet on the back here, white flowers, sandalwood, captive wood, vanilla, and musk. So this is definitely on the smoother, creamier side of things. It's not as dark as Mystic Experience and certainly not as floral as something like Atomic Rose or some of the other fragrances within this list, even Musk Therapy, which is great for spring and summer. So I didn't include that in this video. That's a great blackcurrant, floral, musky type of a fragrance. But Blessed Baraka is definitely one of the most sensual fragrances right next to Atomic Rose. How could you not think of Rose and think about sensuality? Of course, we also have the niche version of Spice Bomb, as people say, and I've said this myself as well. Of course, we're talking about Rehab. Whenever I think of Spice Bomb, I think of vanilla, I think of pink pepper, I think of tobacco. This one surprisingly has a very different note breakdown, but it still accomplishes a similar vibe. Bergamot, lavender, vetiver, cedarwood, patchouli, gaiac wood, sandalwood, and musks. So this fragrance is more on the lavender aromatic side of things. You do have a little bit of freshness in the opening on account of the bergamot, but I also pick up on a lot of those ingredients that are not listed. There's a spicy element, you have the creaminess and the dry down. Of course, the sandalwood is at play there, but the tobacco as well. So I really do enjoy, Rehab. Of course, there's another tobacco fragrance by Initio that I'll get to very soon, or at least I get a tobacco vibe from it. All right, how can we not mention this next one? Oud for Greatness. Now this is on the spicier side of things. It has agarwood. It has this darker personality about it. There's saffron, so it has a bit of like this sweet vibe to it. Not saying that the saffron is making it sweet. If anything, the saffron is just like spicy and leathery. People have basically said it's kind of like Baccarat Rouge 540 by Maison Francis Kurkdjian with oud. Right? So it's kind of like a darker version of that. I know there's also Nagarmoda in here. You're not going to see that in the note breakdown, but it's in here. And this is a really dark, mysterious type of a fragrance. Apparently it's 50 cents signature scent. I don't know how accurate that is, but this one is awesome. I love this fragrance, but it is one of those fragrances from the brand that I have to be in the mood to wear. There are certain fragrances like Rehab, I could wear it 4 or 5 days out of the week. I think with Oud for Greatness, I might wear it like twice a month. So I really have to be in the mood for it. But when I do wear it, I'm like, oh, I made the right choice today. Okay, the fragrance in the number 2 spot. Do you guys know what my favorite Initio fragrance is? I think I've mentioned this on my channel a number of times. Every time I put together like a top 10 best fall fragrances video on the niche side, I always mention this. So pause your video, drop your comment down below. What do you think is my favorite Initio fragrance? And of course, this is the one that I think is really sensual, romantic, spicy. You have this sort of vanilla, saffron, tobacco vibe with a touch of cinnamon. Side Effect. Number 2 spot. Side Effect is my favorite Initio fragrance. Nothing comes close. It's sensual, it's spicy, it's mysterious, it's sexy, it's alluring. It just draws you in, and it's a phenomenal fragrance for the colder weather. So not just fall, although I do like wearing it in the fall because of that cinnamony saffron vibe, but I wear it in the winter as well. The number 1 spot. So this fragrance, I started wearing it and I was reminded initially of another fragrance, which is Plum and Cognac by Scents of Wood. But this fragrance, it has the incense, it has the resins, it's sweet, it has the plum, it has the Palo Santo. It's meditative, it's a little spicy, the woods are so resolute, it's so long lasting. And I remember smelling it for the first time and I was just blown away by it. I was so entranced by it. This is the new number 1 best release from Initio Parfums Prives for the fall and winter. And of course, more along the winter side of things, I would probably wear, Oud for Greatness or Mystic Experience. And there's also another one called Divine Attraction over my shoulder. So there are others that I would prefer to wear in the winter. But if we're talking fall and winter, Paragon. Paragon means the ideal version of something, the best example of something, to be a paragon. This stuff is phenomenal. You have the plum, you have the Palo Santo, you have the woods, you have the resins. It's sweet, it's a little fruity, but not in a conventional way. It's almost syrupy at times. And I love that about it. It has this, like I said, sexy personality. It's dark, it's mysterious, but it also has this empathetic nature about it. So it's not totally dark. It's not like a Divine Attraction. It's not like one of these other like dark, vetiver, brooding, gothic types of fragrances. No, it's, a little bit on the lighter side of things, but it's not light in any shape of, or form of that word. I just mean in comparison to a lot of other fragrances that brands have put out. This one is not as dark as it could be, but I love this stuff. If you're looking for something to wear in the fall and winter, Paragon is amazing. Why don't you guys do me a favor? Drop your comments down below. Let me know, do you have a favorite Initio? More so, do you have a favorite Initio for the fall and winter? Thank you so much for watching my video on my top 10 best and favorite Initio Parfums fragrances for the fall and winter. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you took something of value from today's episode. If you did, please do consider supporting the channel by subscribing to it. Hit the bell and give this video a thumbs up. I love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.